this, drop it into this.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with Peak Design, and today I am going over two of our most popular selling cases. First, the Everyday Case, which launched about 2 years ago with our motorcycle phone mount system, and then our latest release, which is this, the Gnar Case, which is available for iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. All right, first let's jump into an unboxing. First thing we'll do is we'll unbox the Peak Design Gnar Case. If you just picked this up from your local dealer or it came in the mail, if you flip it over, there's a little gray L tab right here. Just go ahead and grab that tab and pull. Peak Design boxes were actually all meant to be opened and closed in case they're on the sales floor and you need to show somebody, or if you decide that you don't like it, you can maintain all the packaging. So here is the Peak Design Gnar Case, and then this pops out. We have our Gnar Case. So there's the inside, there's a little soft liner that goes up against your phone. And then inside the box, we also have some handy info here. We have a little information card. This tells you what else your Gnar Case will work with from the Peak Design ecosystem, plus other MagSafe accessories. We have our little warranty card. You can go ahead and read that. All of our products have a lifetime warranty. You can go ahead and scan. This must be an early sample because I don't have the sticker here yet for the QR code, but normally there would be a QR code right here that you could scan, register your product. When you do register the product, there is a quality control number that's along the bottom. That's the number that you'll need when you register. And of course, there's a little PD sticker. All right, so I started by unboxing the Gnar Case. Next thing we'll unbox, the Everyday Case. This is the case style and design that we've had out for just over 2 years now. Go ahead and pull that plastic off, and inside you'll find Everyday Case for the iPhone 16 Pro. Actually, you won't find it in there because I'm already using it on my phone. I have the kickstand wallet on here, or stand wallet we like to call it. I like things with kickstand, so I call it a kickstand. And this pops down, gives you a nice little stand. Here's the Everyday Case for the iPhone 16 Pro, and I'll go ahead and pop my phone out so we can do a nice little head-to-head. And here we go. Gnar Case and Everyday Case. These are both for the 16 Pro and Pro Max. So for Gnar Case, we only do 16 Pro and Pro Max. For the Everyday Case, we do 16, 16 Plus, 16 Pro, and 16 Pro Max. So let's dive right into probably the biggest difference that you'll be able to see and feel with our Everyday Case versus the Gnar Case. Our Everyday Case has a fabric backer. I've had this case for about 6 months now. I'm in and out of the garage a lot. You can kind of see where my wallet lives. This is a little healthy patina on there. And of course, both of these cases are MagSafe friendly. So if you already have other MagSafe accessories like wallets or charging stands, both of these should work for you. Back to the Everyday Case. Again, fabric backer. It's a VersaShell 100% recycled, blue sign approved nylon canvas. We also offer this in a Clarino finish, and unfortunately I don't have any of those here to show, but I'll make a video later comparing all three of them. It is fairly lightweight. It has a plastic polycarbonate chassis. All the buttons are machined and anodized, so there's a nice fit and finish for them. And then finally on the back you'll see this high strength ceramic locking ring. All right, here's the Peak Design Gnar Case. The first biggest thing you'll notice is the fabric backer has been replaced by a nice scratch resistant finish. It is, this texture up here is the same as built in part of the chassis. And then there is an inlay in this section here where you can kind of see where it's been, almost looks like it's been kind of cut out. And this inlay is actually a grippy, it is still plastic, but it's a grippy plastic. It doesn't feel, you know, like when I've used this and it gets wet, it doesn't feel slimy, it doesn't feel slippery. We also did a diamond knurled TPU bumper on the outside on this case as well, just to give it a little bit of extra traction. So the reason the Gnar Case came about was we were visiting a lot of trade shows, talking to a lot of motorcycle riders, outdoor enthusiasts, and they wanted a case that would be a little bit more protective. They looked at the Everyday Case and just kind of questioned how well that would protect their phone. Both are rated to at least 6 feet drop protection. I've had good luck with the everyday case for myself personally. I also know I work at Peak Design, so I'm gonna use a Peak Design case regardless, but we wanted to give our customers some options. A lot of cases that offer a ton of protection, we also felt were a bit just kind of aggressively over-designed. We wanted to add protection and still keep a pretty slim, comfortable, easy to use phone case. So that was kind of one of the design criteria that we set forth when we looked at doing the Gnar Case. All right, so what did we do to achieve that extra level of protection? First, we increased the size and bevel around the camera. So we added some additional protection there. We then went ahead and we increased the thickness of all the sidewalls. We did this in a way that creates a nice crisp profile. It's lightly contoured, and I feel that it really still sits comfortably in your hand, which is a big thing for me. When I travel a lot. My phone is in my hand a lot. It's being carried a lot. If it's on the moto, it's fine. It's usually mounted, but at some point I'm gonna stop. I need to adjust the maps. I need to zoom in. I need to zoom out, or I want to stop and grab a picture. And just share where I'm at, and share what I'm up to. And when I'm doing that, I'm holding my phone and I'm using it. And just like any other tool in the workshop, we wanted something that was durable, practical, but was also still fun to use. All right, comparing and contrasting the Peak Design Gnar Case and the Everyday Case. So first thing you'll notice is the buttons are actually slightly bigger on the Gnar Case. They're both machined aluminum and anodized for some nice color pop. On the Everyday Case, we matched the buttons. On the Gnar Case, we gave it a little accent color. The other thing that you'll notice on the Gnar Case is the camera button for the iPhone 16 is sealed off, whereas on the iPhone 16 Everyday Case, it's open. This really just comes down to user preference. I found both design features to work fine for me. There wasn't anything that was annoying about both. If anything, the Gnar Case for me takes the lead a tiny bit, only because this cutout is less noticeable for me when I go to pick up my phone. So the Gnar Case maybe gives it a slight edge there. Next up, camera bezel. So if we look at both camera bezels, the camera bezel on the Gnar Case, which is here, is slightly bigger. So we enlarged it for some additional lens protection versus the Everyday Case. Lastly, the biggest feature on the Gnar Case is this sealed USB-C port. So if I push this in, this pops out, and you can see we've created a sealed USB-C port. That helps keep water and debris out of the USB-C port. If you decide that you don't like this USB-C port cover, you can remove it, push it up, slide it over, and the USB-C port protector comes right out, no problem. And you can set that aside so that you're running without the USB-C port protector. Installing your phone in either case is very straightforward. For the Gnar Case, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop out that USB-C port cover so it doesn't interfere when I put my phone in there. I usually start with the bottom first and then just press the top, and your phone case is installed. Push this up and your USB-C port is covered. Everyday Case, gonna go ahead and install my iPhone 16 Pro. Shouldn't be anything too complicated. Again, I start with the bottom, I push that in so it's flush, and then I simply just press the top, and our phone is installed and ready to go. If you are struggling with this part and your phone isn't fitting, just double check the make model of your phone. All right, one question I always get at shows is, how does the fabric case hold up to grease, grime, living life in the garage, on the road, and is the Gnar Case, could it be that much easier to clean? So I thought, let's find out. First thing I did, I grabbed some chain lube. Let's go ahead and see if we can get these things dirty. All right, well, I've obviously created a mess here. I've covered the entire back. This case with chain lube and the Gnar Case with chain lube. This is the off-road, long-lasting sticky stuff. So let's go ahead and get a paper towel, if I can, and let's just give it a wipe test. So fresh, clean. You've seen these blue paper towels around. Let's give this a wipe. Try and clean this off. I haven't used any degreasers or anything. And I'm not gonna lie, that's the first time I've ever done that. I've never purposely sprayed the back of my case. Yeah, you can definitely feel it. There's still a little bit of slipperiness there. But I gotta say, I think most of this has pretty much wiped off. There's probably a little bit of residue left, and if I got a little simple green or some Dawn, I could probably clean the rest of that right off without any issues. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good pass. All right, Gnar Case. This one should be pretty easy to wipe up and clean. Let's give this a nice little wipe. I should probably use a fresh rag, but I think we're all right. I found a mostly clean spot, so that looks like it cleaned up pretty good without a whole lot of residual residue. That looks pretty good. That cleaned up, I would say, just as easy. All right, chain lube test complete. All right, here's what I went and found next. Waterproof grease. This is stuff I use on my mountain bikes, gravel bike, motorcycles. This stuff comes in pretty handy. Oh yeah. All right, let's give this a smear and see how it goes. Ooh, this is goopy. Probably should have put a glove on. How's that look? Nice. Oh, I'm afraid to even put it on the everyday case. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, smear. There we go, that's some Bob Ross stuff right there. All right, Gnar Case. 1, 2, 3, smear. Oh, all right. Let me take a second and clean my hand off before I start touching everything else around the garage. Let's go ahead and grab a fresh paper towel. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and use 2 here because this stuff is pretty sticky. And my battery's about to die on my camera, so I'm gonna pause this for a second, swap batteries. All right, I'm back. Make a mental note to myself to charge some batteries because these are all dead. Back to the grease test. So we just went ahead and smeared some Maxima waterproof grease on here. And we're gonna see if this even wipes off. This is gonna be pretty gross, but let's just see how this goes. So a couple of wipes. And maybe another paper towel. We can get some of this stuff off the sides. I gotta say, for being 100% recycled, first to shell, this is pretty good. There's still a little bit more residual grease there, but it didn't leave a stain, and it's been sitting on there for a couple of minutes. That would have been the first thing I would have kind of anticipated. Yeah, I say with a little extra elbow grease and some simple green, this would clean up a little bit more and be ready to go. We're not gonna give it the sniff test, or should we? Yeah, that smells like grease. All right, Gnar Case. I'm imagining this is gonna clean up pretty easily. This should just wipe off like that. Okay, got a little bit extra grease in the corner. That's my little overview of the Peak Design Gnar Case and the Peak Design Everyday Case. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving this a watch. I hope this was helpful in making your decision for which case to go with. If you have any questions, comments, throw them down below. I'll try and answer them for you. I'm also on ADV Rider, Moto Rider, RIJDER. We have a vendor forum link on there. Hit me up, or just send a note to our customer service team. They're all super helpful. And if they don't know the answer, they will track me down or someone in the company and find out. So thanks again for watching. Appreciate it, and ride safe.